Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the daily video. Darren, how's it going today? Today, yes, it's the morning. It's not too early in the morning though. It's only 12:15, but I've decided to head on to bed because the next chunk of code that I'm going to be chucking out is it's going to be like a bit of a rabbit hole. I can feel myself staying awake till like 2 in the morning, and I don't want to start off the week going to bed at stupid o'clock in the morning and then being tired for the rest of the week. So I'm going to go to bed today. 12:30, a little bit later, a little bit later, a little bit later, rather than like really late. So it's always silly staying up really late Monday, because normally at the weekend I sleep more anyway. So I've got like I have a little bit of a lie-in on a Sunday. I sleep more on a Sunday than I do on a weekday because I don't have to wake up in the morning so early. So I always think it's a bit silly then trying to stay up stupid late on a Monday night, because that's the night I have the most energy and then it just hits me for the rest of the week. So I'm heading to bed soon. What's been going on today though, ladies and gentlemen? Today, woke up normal time, drove into work nice and easy, half term. So it's going to be nice and easy to drive in, touch wood, for the next couple of weeks, 2 weeks I think. Got to work nice and early, started working away. I've been like merging code. I merged like 4.5 different things. I passed over the last thing to someone else at the end of the day. It's kind of weird because it's not just a case of like merging code. We're merging code from like 2014, and we're trying to merge this functionality that's in this code here that was checked in 2014 into this branch now, where the entire thing that entire file has been refactored. And in some cases it doesn't even exist anymore. It's entertaining, to say the least. And then we have to like figure out if we've broken any tests, and then make sure the tests that are also being merged in all passed, all that kind of stuff. And it's quite difficult, especially given that the tests take 8 hours to run, and the build takes 8.5 hours to run. It's good fun. So I queued up the 4 that I did, and then the last half one. Hopefully we queued up before I left, so that I can make sure that those ones have passed, and then I can do pull requests to drag them in, and all is good in that hood. Otherwise though, that's about all. I've been communicating with some of the like senior people, discussing ways in which we can store a log of builds, because at the moment we have like 1,000,001 branches. I understand why they've limited it like this. We've got 1,000,001 branches of code that we support. We support like different versions of the code base for different customers. We've got 1,000,001 of them, but we only build one. We have like the main one and the feature one. So the main one, you can request which build you want to do, which dev branch or master branch you want to build for that branch. And then like the feature one is designed for like feature branches. So like all of my feature branches that I'm creating to do this merge, they go on that build thing. But then we only keep one. That means like you've got a mess. So you've got like 1,000,001 different branches. There's no easy way of telling which build belongs to which branch. And then 2, we only keep a history of the last 30 of them. So it's impossible to figure out firstly, these 8 builds I did today, 4 builds I did today, hopefully when I get in tomorrow they'll be in those top 30. Because if they're not, I'm fucked. I have no proof of the fact whether they passed or not, which is crazy. So yeah, that's a whale of a time. But I've been talking to someone to try and figure out ways in which we can actually maintain this kind of information, because it's probably worth the hard drive space. Also, should we restructure the build so we have one for each thing? And tomorrow I'm going to send an email around to those interested to say maybe we should think about separating the integration tests and the unit tests so that we can actually have a build that fails quickly rather than takes 8 hours to fail. If we separate, the problem is, the reason they don't want to separate integration and thingy tests is we've got about 18,000 integration tests. But if we could just do a really fast unit test build, people would realise that actually we've got fuck all unit test coverage. When they write new code, they'll realise, oh, I've got to write unit tests and integration tests instead of writing an integration test that doesn't do the job of either. And then you'll have a faster build. There's loads of advantages. We've just got to go through and figure out which tests are unit tests and which tests are integration tests. Move them all. Sounds fun. And also get the builds to do it. Because then what you can have, like my infrastructure here, build server I use, like Visual Studio Online, or Team Services as another, has a build server, build agent, for my projects. When I check it in, it checks style cop, so it checks whether I've spelt all the comments right, whether all of the semicolons are in the right place, whether all the curly brackets are all like formatted correctly, to make sure the code is like of the right format. If it isn't of the right format, or I spelt something wrong, it tells me to fuck off and breaks the build. It fails within half a second, instantaneously. Doesn't even bother building. Because normally, if something like that's gone wrong, then maybe it is going to build. Then it does the build itself, which takes like... It actually takes longer than it should on the build server, because it has to keep restoring all the fucking NuGet packages. And it drives me mad. Because it's like an instance that gets created and then destroyed, like it doesn't cache the fucking NuGet packages between it kills me. But anyway, it then does a build, which takes like less than a second. That'll obviously check for compilation errors. It then runs the unit tests. Bam, there we go, we've got a fast unit test. So that's sweet, that literally finishes in like less than 2 seconds, I think. And we've got like nearly 500 tests. And then after that, there will be integration tests, for those that are applicable that can run on this build agent. Obviously not all of them will be suitable for that kind of stuff, but most of them will be. They run then after, and then you have like this gateway that goes, oh yeah, green, 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 green. Or you have fail, rather than, let's say I put a code change in that broke every... Let's say I merged up an error in the application context, which is like a Spring XML thing we use to inject as a inversion of control thing. If I fucked up in that, every single test that uses that will break, which is like 18,000. 18, probably more. 18,000 unit tests would all fail, and I'd know 8 hours later. And it wouldn't be so bad if running all the tests on your computer was easy. It was easy to go, right, I need to run all the core unit tests, and then the integration tests in these specific areas. It wouldn't be bad if I could do that, but no, I can't do that. So I'm gonna send some emails around, and like, I think what I noticed with this like build thing, like I spoke to people, they found it irritating, but no one said anything, and I said something, and now it's kind of getting looked at. So I'm gonna, while I'm ahead, not thingy. Oh, also good news, I'm not sacked. That's just an admin error, obviously, as I knew it would be, but anyway, by the by. What's been going on otherwise? Then was at lunchtime I was working on my project. I am going through the motions of adding the .NET Core CLI command line interface compilers, or support for that, so I'm creating like a generic process wrapper and then like extracting out the information that I need to extract out when I need to do it, which is good. I'm going through the framework of that, and I've just finished doing that now. I've got like all the generic stuff, so it'll run off in a backwards thread and it can kill it if it needs to. And then now, tomorrow, I'm going to start actually doing the compiler and then getting the results out of it at the end. So that should be fun. What else? What else? So yeah, that was lunchtime. Yeah, and just now. Came back from work, came here, ironed my shirts because I didn't do them yesterday. Because I'm a bad man. I forgot about them until really late. So I came home, did my shirts, cooked dinner. Me and Laura went shopping. We went shopping. We've got a bloody fridge full. Can't remember the last time we got a big fridge like this. Laura was like, how are we going to get it all in? She did a stellar job. We have like a... Laura does the fridge because I'm not very good at stacking stuff. And I do all the cupboards and like non-fridge stuff basically. So yeah, we have a good system. And then we watched an interesting documentary on the presidential race in America, which is eye-opening. And for the BBC, very like aggressively anti-Trump for obvious reasons. But it's weird watching the BBC do stuff like that, because normally for like obviously UK politics they can't have an opinion, so but they can have an opinion on American. So yeah, that was that. Laura then went to bed at about 10, about 10:30. From then till about 10:30 I sorted out my daily vlog, and then I've been programming. So yeah, I don't feel tired at the precise moment in time, I don't know if you can tell. But I feel like if I don't go to bed then I will be tired, so there's that. Tomorrow then, ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? I am having another day similar to this, really, except we're not going shopping. More merging. Get the .NET compiler thing through. Might not be able to finish it tomorrow, but hopefully. Depends how much dev time I get on it. At about 2 hours dev time today, 1 hour and 50. My targets are to do 7.5, my minimum targets are 7.5 hours of development for my project, my main project, and then another one for my smaller Android app. That one's kind of getting neglected, but I'm doing like 10 plus hours on my main project, which is the most important one. So 1.5 hours a night is good. Like 1 hour a night basically is the target for the main project, but I seem to be doing 10ish, and nearly 2 hours I did today, so that's close to thingy. Laura asked me, like, are you still enjoying this? I'm like, yeah. Do you not think I'd be doing this, man? Like, I do this time logging thing to kind of like, to keep a note of how much time I spend, so that there aren't days where I slack off. Like, there is still a drive, like I'm forcing myself to do it, but I'm forcing myself to do it through like arbitrary deadlines and stuff. Which, well, they're not arbitrary, but I am really enjoying it. But it's just hits everything else, doesn't it? But it's good fun. Anyway, bedtime. I'll catch you later.